Coach Peter Hans here today with so many different kinds of questions that I'm going to answer because I keep getting them through emails and I love them, but sometimes I can't tell if they were written in an aspirational way or if they're kind of, what's that word? Like, they are trying to make fun of me, I guess? Or if not make fun of me, trying to, okay, how can I put it? Let's say one of my leaders, one of the people I learned from, and then they do something amazing, or they post a big idea, a big plan they're going to follow through with, and then I send them a message like, oh, it must be nice, right? You know, well, you can't really feel that tone through a message, but there's context clues, right, that I interpret through chatting with a few of you that I can't really tell if you're happy or you're, what's that word? My good friend John, he said if you want something and you know someone that will reply to you, either through camera or through typing or in person, that would be best, but you keep shutting the door, like you ask them for help but then you shut it. Like, that's how I feel sometimes when people send me those kinds of emails, because if I try to help them or let them into my business or into my team or get them to follow their dreams, they create this gap, right? Like, this is where I want to be, this is where I'm at. Well, as a leader, there's no gap in my eyes. But to some people, they think I'm so far out that they can't get there. And the truth is, anyone can. Here's a better truth. Anyone in my team, within 60 days, passes me. Every single time that they go through the entire 60 days in my training, they pass me because it took me 1 year to learn everything that's in those 60 days. So in 2 months, you're either at my level or past it. There is no gray area. There is no I'm here, you're there. No, it's like day one, you're pretty much the same, like, because the only difference is knowledge. Then after day 60, it's like you already know the knowledge, so you're either at my point or beyond it a full entire year, because I'm still creating and learning myself. I'm not perfect. Nobody in the world is perfect. The only difference between what I do and what someone does when they just start is I teach it to you. I'm the director of training and field development. I'm here to put it in the easiest, most fun way possible so you can enjoy the success you yourself created. So here is one of the questions I get very often, especially in person. Do you have a job? Or if they know about me, right, they find out about me through Facebook or their friend of their friend or their friend, they go through my article, they're like, how did you leave your job? How does that even work? Well, it's simple. And I put it in this manner all the time, every time. If you have a job you don't like that you're working for, and the environment's negative, it's hostile, it's all over the place, like you want to move up the ladder and they just laugh at you, or they say yes, do these things, and then they keep postponing it. The way I put it out there is, a dog will stop jumping for the bone after so many times that you just keep lifting your arm up. And that's a fact. If you're a boss like that, don't do that. Like, that's the worst thing you could do. You're like, hey, and then they jump and they jump and they jump, and you're over here like, this looks so funny. But they know they're never going to get the bone, but I'm just enjoying it. That's really evil, guys. And women, don't do that. I don't care how successful you can become. If you do that to anyone, you're in the mindset that you think you're better so far that you're willing to hurt someone's life, because it messes with their mentality. You are the one that puts them in what I call zombie mode. 2 or 3 hours out of their shift, they're like, yes, I feel like I'm doing great. But the rest of the 6 to 10, they know nothing's going to be different 1 month down the line, 1 year down the line. So they stop trying. I'm here to get paid per hour, and that's all. If that's the environment, and you have a ton of bills to pay, right, then get another job on the side, right? And I know it's going to suck, doing 2 jobs, 2 or 3 jobs, because you're not going to have time, you're not going to have too much finances, you're barely going to get a little bit extra if you really go through all the expenses in your entire year and then divide it into individual days. When I did my part-time job with my second job last year, I made a post about it on my personal page, And I could only work a max of 25 hours a week at $9.05 an hour, which was considered a blessing, which was not. After college expenses, after the gas, after the food, after the break food, which was peanuts, 2 for $1, after all these different things, I only came out to having $4 a week able to spend on something I wanted. What was I really going to spend that on? Either nothing, or maybe a few Scantrons and pencils when I showed up to class and I had forgotten I have an exam, or I left the materials at home, or maybe, just maybe, I would buy that Gatorade in my break time to add to the flavor of peanuts. Does that make sense? Imagine the people that get paid less than $9 an hour. They are literally working and their bank account is always going down. There's never a point where they will have money. It's very sad. And it's a bad cycle if you can't find a way to get out of it. And some people say, I can't, I'm stuck. I have too many things to pay. Well, when I started my business, I kept doing side jobs. Side jobs that I was really good at. I'm really good at computers in terms of typing essays. I found out that I like writing books, but I didn't know that back then. I typed really quick, and I could review things. So guess what? I would do that for other peers of mine. I would check their essays, maybe charge them a bit to fix it up. You know, someone needs this professional thing done. They're already a teacher or vice principal, and they have to create this outline for a meeting. They don't know how. Guess what? I was the man to say, what is it all about? What's in the flyer you want to create? This, or that. Boom, done. Get it, done, and I got paid pretty quickly because I would do it within 30 minutes, and I would get paid between $30 to $100. But you have to be really darn good at something, right, to charge that amount. That's the other thing. You have to believe in the value of what you're talented in. If you yourself have a low perception of what you're valued, you're almost never going to find anyone that's going to pay you higher than what you think. If you yourself don't see yourself worth where you want to be, you'll never get there. Because anyone else is going to ask you sooner or later, how much would you charge for this? And if in your head says, well, I shouldn't charge that much, you're never going to charge that much, and then they won't be able to charge that much. And then if you say a value higher than what you think you're worth, then it's going to be like a Craigslist ad. How about a cheaper? How about cheaper? And it's going to be a bargain for your skills. And if you're talented in something, you should know that God gave you that talent for a reason. And if that's your way to a better, happier life, open your eyes. God is giving you a choice here. Do it. Take a step forward. That was one of the biggest things I kept messing up on. I kept choosing corporate America. Every single time when something happened, when I should have chosen the righteous thing, the more proper thing, I kept choosing go to work instead of study. Go to work instead of go to a funeral of a relative. Go to work instead of this or that. And every time it kept getting closer to home. You know, every time whoever was involved that I was supposed to choose their life for, right, go and help them, it was a friend, and then my grandmother, and then this, and then that, and it just kept coming closer to my house until it was smack in the middle of my home. You don't want someone that you truly love and desire to pass away until you think, you know what, it's time to get an education, it's time to get my degree, it's time to get a better job, it's time to help my family out. You know, why do you would not want for your mom or dad to pass away wishing you did something, and then once they're gone you find out the magnitude of how much it meant to them, and then you go after it. Find that, and have that. It's called your why. Find your reason to succeed. Find your reason to get out of debt. Find your reason to get a degree. Find your reason for whatever it is. To get in shape, to get healthy, to become the doctor, to become a teacher, to nail that oil rig job. And for some reason you only got 1 hour to fill out the application out of the week because you're so darn busy, use that entire hour and do your best. And then submit it. Even if it's maybe one question you missed. But if you only have 1 hour in the entire month, use it to get that second job. Use it to create something that will help you out on the side. You have to believe in yourself that what you're doing is of value so that you could leave something you dislike. Now there's the flip side. There's always two sides to the coin. And it also stands in the middle, which is called the gray area. The other side is you live somewhere, you work somewhere where the environment's great. I used to work for Walmart back in November 2010 until January 2011. And the environment was awesome. People were like, way to go, do your best. You want a promotion, here it is. And if you filled it out, you got promoted like the next day. Like within 3 or 4 business days of you knowing for sure that you've checked everything. It took one day for whoever was your boss says, this is awesome, I'm going to recommend you to go to the training. And then you go to the training, it was obvious you were going to get promoted. I love that. If you're in an environment like that, stay there. Because check this out, if you love where you work, it doesn't matter how much you get paid, you're always going to have more than enough. Why? Because if you want more, the environment enables you to earn more. And therefore, money does not become a factor in your life. Money will always be the byproduct of whatever you do. If you don't like what you do, you're never, almost never going to have money. If you love what you do, you're always going to have enough. If you're able to keep moving up the ladder because you love what you're doing, you're going to have an abundance. You're going to have more than you need. So keep that in mind. Why did I write my first book? Straight up and out, because I wanted to have a personal reminder to wherever I'm at in my life, however successful I may become, or could be, or will. I will always be able to open up my own, I know this sounds weird, but my own autobiography of how I started, so I will never lose sight of who it took to get there. I will never lose the memories of how bad it felt to choose the wrong thing. I will always be able to say, man, I was messed up back then. Man, my mindset was horrible. I can't believe I chose this. And even if they laughed in my face, I kept following them. Even though they put me down, I kept saying, thanks for the extra shift. Thank you for letting me work. Even though deep down inside, that was the wrong, this is going to sound bad, but kissing ass. And then you don't even know the people. You know what I mean? That's just bad. And that's why I wrote it. That was the initial reason. The second one was so I could always be able to think, wow, at least I got out of it. It took a lot of effort. It took a lot of energy. It took a lot of passion. But I'm out of there. I'm not ever going back. If I go work for someone, at least it's going to be in an environment where it's like my Walmart job, where they kept saying you're great when you walk in, and they meant it. When they said if you want to get promoted, this is what you need. And within a week, you're there. It's not, oh, you want to get promoted? Well, me too. If you get promoted, I'm going to hate you. If you become my boss, I'm going to stop coming in on time. Like fighting for the position instead of mutual success. There's always different factors to life. And if you surround yourself with negative people, you yourself start becoming negative. What happened with me was my brother's incident was so massive, I had had enough, and I had to choose for the better immediately. There was no, if I chose corporate again, if I chose to go to work instead of go be with my brother, things would have been horrible. I would have been the same. I would have given up. I would just keep thinking, is this what life's supposed to be? Just people getting hurt in my life when I'm thinking it's a good choice to not even care about them. How can you say that, right? How could you say people you care about are getting hurt and you question it when you yourself can't be there for them? You'd rather be earning an extra $8 or $9. Think about that. And there is no right or wrong mindset in terms of income. It's just, that's my interpretation at this point. That's why I wrote the book. People that have read the book, it's weird. The first chapter outlines financial maturity. It's free. You could sign up and get that piece already. The second edition, it's even better. You could find out what money is. And it's less than 0.5% of the success of me and anyone in my team. Money is always going to be there, guys. It's a number. If you want more, you could go get more. If I wanted more money, I will go get a job, get paid per hour. But I don't like getting paid per hour. I'd rather not even worry about it and focus on helping people. I'd rather talk to them if they need a smile. I do this all the time. If someone's outside and they're on the bench and they look like they've had a bad day, or maybe they're even crying, they might even know who I am. But I go up to them and say, what's up? And you could ask people that live with me, I yell it. I say it with so much enthusiasm, it makes people jump. Like, what the heck, who just yelled that right next to my ear? And I talk to them, what's wrong? How are you doing? 5, 10, 30 minutes? And the reason is because during the summer, I thought to myself, if I do this, if I say hello to every single person, and a few people that look down, like they've had the worst day in their lives, you never know. Or I told myself, you may never know, Pete, if that person may be struggling through something that could lead to a really bad choice. Maybe this person needed to be, have someone positive. Hey, this person, I don't even know them, but he's happy. And trust me, being happy is very contagious. Letting them know that there's something better in life is super contagious. Initially, you plant a seed that makes them want to do better. So who knows, maybe they were going to think of suicide, and now they said, hey, there's one person who doesn't even know me, super energetic, and he thinks I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? And I really do. There's a lot of people that are so down in our world at this moment that you could ask them like 5 or 6 good questions, and one of those questions is going to surprise you, and you're going to say, wow, you have more to offer than I ever could in that area of life. I wish I had what you had. I wish I knew what you know. I wish I could do what you do. And when you tell someone that, you go inside their mind, body, and soul, and you really give them value. And when you give someone value, you give them a purpose. You give them a reason to get off that bench and go study for their test. Go be the best they could be at their job. Go and sign up for the next job to leave the one that's making them question whether life is worth living or not. Maybe you give them the enthusiasm to go and, just like me, pull weeds out of the ground to have extra money for something they need to do. That's what life's about. You got to help people. And if I could say hello or what's up to 30 people a day that I don't even know, in my opinion, at least one person I've helped change their outlook on life for one day. And that's all it takes. Just one day, one conversation, one way to smile. And it's a challenge. It is a challenge. Sometimes I feel like, oh man, they're going to think I'm weird. And some people have. They're going to think, who's this guy? Why is he even talking to me? And it has happened. But I bet you what? One person, and they always message me back on Facebook. They find me one way or another. I'm not there, hey, they could find me. My name is pretty simple to remember. And they'll send me a message. Thanks for the conversation today. It was great. And that is priceless. The next step, some people I have helped heal diabetes, become better parents. They're clinically depressed. They're on medicine. They're on super expensive medicine that hinders the food that they give their family. Whatever the situation may be, I've been able to heal that. And it feels great because you've literally saved lives. How does that even feel? And think about it. If you're hostile yourself, if you're so negative, some people think the magnitude of saving a life is too immense. And it is. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you feel like breaking down. And sometimes you will break down. Because it's up to you, right? How can you take the weight of someone else's life on your shoulders? Can you take that step forward? And that's why my business is very intense. The 60-day training is 60 days for a reason. It takes 60 days to really understand what it's all about. To really be able to ask yourself, am I ready for this kind of stage in my life? The benefits, they're endless. They could go forever. These trips, all these announcements that I've been making, all these different things, they're not meant to show off. It's just to say, I'm able to do this now. And I never even thought about it. I'm able to do the things in my dreams, but I never really planned it. They're just byproducts of doing what I love. And that's reaching out to people, adding value to their lives, touching them, being able to say, you can do this. And that's what you should be doing. I challenge you to live that way. I challenge you to do that every single day. From one person to another. Not from a boss, not from a CEO, not from whatever. Just from me, Peter, to you. Notice this is just on my personal profile. It's not on my coaching page. If you're watching this, it's because you have a deeper connection at this moment. And I want you to know, from here to you, challenge yourself to help your life and someone else's every single day. In 1 year, you'll be amazed as to the things you'll be able to do, as to how you think. I'll admit it, I'm not the same person I was 1 year and 3 weeks ago. I'm nowhere near the same person I was in high school. I'm not even close to who I was back in middle school. And it's only been 1 year. Coach Peter Hans, your friend, there's no gap in between you and me. We're equals. We're all equals. With your health and success in mind, I'll catch you around.